Okay, it's 3:20 in the morning, so this is the second, but probably last message I'm going to look at and respond to. It says, Cyril Lucaris, Yusuf, I could have sworn I asked you about this a long time ago, so I apologize if I did and forgot your answer, but have you heard about this guy, the supposed Calvinist Patriarch of Constantinople, and what do you think about that part of history? Yeah, you know what, I actually did answer this. I apologize if I didn't send it to you. I forget many times if I just made it and didn't send it. Yeah, guy was an idiot. Either he didn't know that much about Calvinism, or he saw Calvinism was I checked into it, some sparse things. Was he a patriarch? It wouldn't surprise me, a patriarch of Constantinople. This was way back. This was at the beginning of the Reform movement. He was very sympathetic to Calvinism. I know that. I don't think he was a Calvinist, but he really liked what they had to say, which they were heavy iconoclasts. And they didn't have the same view of baptism. Well, I think some of them could. No, they didn't. They were, well, after Zwingli, it was receptionism, and baptism was not done. I mean, there's nothing more steeped in scholasticism or coming out straight out of Augustinianism, and nothing more, I mean, opposite to orthodoxy than Calvinism. I mean, the patriarchs of Constantinople, I mean, the worst heretics have been the patriarchs of Constantinople. If I were a better person, I wouldn't use this term, but the guy's a fucking asshole. That patriarch, may he constantly have diarrhea in hell. Scumbag. I thought once somebody had tried to say that because of this, the Orthodox Church had lost its apostolic succession. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if the Patriarch of Constantinople could make Orthodoxy lose its apostolic succession, then it already happened with Nestorius a long time ago. That's actually a very Calvinist, or at least Western Roman Catholic, or some type of Western Christian view of how the church works, but certainly not an Orthodox church view of the church. And yeah, they would be wrong. No. Remember, we still have 4 standing patriarchates, and just because they act like jackasses all the time, I guess the current one isn't so bad, but yeah, this loser was. But I never heard anything about it, though generally the Protestant world doesn't seem to know you guys exist. Yeah, they don't. Or think you're identical to Roman Catholics. Yes. Though occasionally they'll bring you up just to say they got along fine without a pope. Guess you really don't need one. Goes back to the Luther and in Smelcod articles, if memory serves. You know what? Yeah, they use us. Yeah, you're right there. They don't know who we are. Think we're the same as Catholics, or they use us to. I know James White uses a lot of early Christian stuff to try to bash the papacy. Yeah, it's a real scumbaggish argument, because then why wouldn't you be Eastern Orthodox? You either have to think we're heretics, so why would you think our arguments were valid against the Pope anyways? And if we weren't, not to mention that all of Protestantism relies on Augustine, whether they know it or not, and relies on how Augustine translated the translation of Jerome. Peace and hope, things are going better for you and your family. Oh, I won't. I appreciate the sentiments at the end. I won't read them in here. But yeah, you're exactly right. I think that's dead on. No matter what I say against Rome, I will always have much more respect for the lay Catholics than pretty much anyone else. And they seem to retain a lot of the heart of Christianity, and whereas the Protestants kind of don't. And no matter how bad Rome gets, Rome is still a see. It may be a lost see, it may be an inactive see, but it's still a see, and it still has its roots in historical Christianity. It's not even like the Orientals, where they actually split, and then there was two patriarchates, in Alexandria, and then in Antioch, which is a blatant place where the Monophysites never were, or Monophysites, or whatever you want to call them. Just because of Islam, but Rome actually did go rogue on its own, and there was no other contestant in Rome for there were anti-popes, but not one in line with orthodoxy. So it did have a historical basis, and it went off. So they're from our line, It's like a wayward brother or sister. We're gonna have that connection no matter what, just because of history. But yeah, this Calvinist patriarchate thing, I think he was kind of all excited because there was going to be this new orthodoxy in the West. But I think he was just as stupid as many of the other Greeks. I'm not saying all Greeks are stupid or whatever, but when I say that, I mean the patriarchates with these, we can get more power, or this or that, or they're going to be Greek now. Now they're Greek. Oh, you're part of the Greek church, so you're Greek, and blah, blah, blah. Thinking they're going to make Germany Greek. Ridiculous. Yeah. Calvinism is anathema, plain and simple. And if this guy was a Calvinist, then there needs to be no charge again. He is anathemized. That's it. For it to be excommunicated, even to be anathemized, nobody needs to ever tell you. You anathemize yourself. Before anybody's anathemized, they are the ones that do the anathemizing. It's usually very high-profile people, or people who preach this kind of stuff that would get anathemized. But yeah, this fool, if he really was a Calvinist, but I think he was just kind of wide-eyed looking at the Protestants, and I've seen this happen in parishes where they're like, oh, we can combine two parishes together, and very wide-eyed, and it winds up destroying the parish. It happened with my old parish when they combined a Protestant church with our parish and made a guy who was not Orthodox overnight, and then a priest the next day, who had 3 churches before that crumble underneath him, and him being thrown out of them. And surprise, surprise, he drove every single last Orthodox out of there, except for one convert that liked him, that footed the bill for the church, paid the mortgage for the church, and so the guy had to listen to him. So yeah. It was that the fish rots from the head, but luckily the head dies a lot, and the body of the church, which is the people, actually the head doesn't rot. Our head is Christ, but the patriarchs are whatever they do is, especially Constantinople. I almost have no respect for Constantinople at all after the tricks it's pulled. And this guy and Athenagoras, and yeah, he's not the Pope. We don't have a Pope thing over with us, so it's not. It wouldn't affect Antioch, Alexandria, or there's actually 9 patriarchates now. Wouldn't affect Romania. Wouldn't affect and Constantinople was never the leader of all the church. People may say ecumenical patriarchate. That's a title of honor, not of authority. How we view Rome, that it's a title of honor and not authority. like an elder brother or elder sister, but certainly not ordering. I order you. Yeah. Cool. I'll send this one to you. I think I did make a video about that a long time ago. Sorry I didn't send it to you. Okay, it's 3:20 in the morning, so this is the second, but probably last message I'm going to look at and respond to. It says, Cyril Lucaris, Yusuf, I could have sworn I asked you about this. Yeah, you know what, I actually did answer this. I apologize if I didn't send it to you. I forget many times if I just made it and didn't send it. Yeah, Patriarch of Constantinople. This was way back. This was at the beginning of the Reform movement. He was very sympathetic to Calvinism. I know that. I don't think he was a Calvinist, but he, a long time ago. So I apologize if I did and forgot your answer. But have you heard about this guy, the supposed Calvinist Patriarch of Constantinople? And what do you think about that part of history? Guy was an idiot. Either he didn't know that much about Calvinism, or he saw Calvinism was I checked into it, some sparse things. Was he a patriarch? It wouldn't surprise me if